Did Denny Hamlin actually jump that final restart? And is Motorsport Games finally dead?
High, push it, checker flag, hell yeah!
What's the caution for? Me?
Can they not push it in?
Stop anybody.
Come on, these guys! Way to go, boys!
One hell of a job, man. One hell of a job. Thank you so much.
It is not a joke. It is shifting gears on a Monday, April 1st, 2024. Welcome on into the program. I'm Alan Bailey. Lots to talk about today. Did Denny Hamlin jump that restart? Martin Truex Jr.'s pissed. The wet weather tires. To caution or not caution. Bubba Wallace versus Kyle Larson. MTJ versus the entire field. Chandler Smith picked up the victory in Xfinity. Should Richmond have a second date? And is Motorsport Games actually dead? Yeah, lots to cover on the program today. And before we get on into it, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video in 2024. And log on to arnrace.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. No time like the present. The big burning question: did Denny Hamlin jump that final restart and effectively cheat his way into victory lane at Richmond over the weekend for his third short track victory of 2024, second points paying short track victory win of the season? Hells yes. Like, I can't be more blunt or more honest. Yes, he jumped that restart. You look at every single angle that we saw out at Richmond, he clearly went before the line. NASCAR painted the restart zone box, the Geico restart zone on the racetrack, on the walls for a reason, to make it abundantly clear when drivers jump the restart, and clearly Denny Hamlin jumped this restart. Even Denny Hamlin in victory lane after the race admitted, yeah, I jumped the restart, but it was my pit crew who won that race for me. Why do you ask? Well, because you cheated, Denny. You jumped the restart on your teammate and then used him up into turn number one and ran him up the racetrack. If I'm Martin Truex Jr., I am pissed too. I mean, Truex was poised to go to victory lane. He hasn't won in a hot minute in the NASCAR Cup Series. Denny Hamlin just got a victory a couple of weeks ago, and now my teammate's going to, frankly, have a better pit stop than me. That's reason enough to be pissed. And then the other reason is he jumps the restart, cheats effectively at the start, and then uses me up in turn number one and pushes me up the racetrack. Denny Hamlin is not a Joe Gibbs Racing teammate. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. And when you're in one of these race cars out there trying to win, that's your job, is to go out there and try to win. So I can't blame Hamlin for cheating on the restart or using his teammate up and pushing him up the racetrack. It's not like Denny Hamlin has a history of that, but I'm kind of sick of it, honestly. I'm sick of Denny Hamlin doing this crap and frankly getting away with it. At what point is Joe Gibbs Racing going to crack down on this guy? Never, because he's winning races. I do feel bad for Martin Truex Jr. because he clearly was pissed off, went after Denny Hamlin after the race. He was pissed off at everybody, and it deserves to be a little bit mad. He has a valid reason to be pissed. I do not blame him for that, but at the same time, you got to take responsibility for your own actions. Truex did not get a good restart. He did not chase down his teammate in the closing laps right there. And you got to be better than that, Truex. Plain and simple. But at the end of the day, should NASCAR have called out Denny Hamlin for his restart violation? Yes. The end. Period. There's no other discussion on this. Follow the rules or don't. And if this were any other driver, would NASCAR have called this decision on anybody else besides Denny Hamlin? Maybe, maybe not. NASCAR's been in this kind of hands-off, we don't want to make the balls and strikes calls on the racetrack, but NASCAR is in that position, and they have to. And when you don't hold your drivers accountable for jumping the restart or any other little rule on the racetrack, then at that point you lose control over the on-track racing product and the actual event, and you're just along for the ride. And let's be clear here, Denny Hamlin forced NASCAR's hand. Denny Hamlin dictated the outcome of that race, and he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have had the right to do that. NASCAR should have fined him, should have penalized him, should have had him come down pit road, should have immediately thrown the caution and redone that restart with Denny Hamlin leading potentially or not leading. I'll let you decide in the comments down below, but either way, bad look for NASCAR. They look like idiots this morning because Denny Hamlin ends up winning on clearly him cheating on the restart right there. By the way, Chandler Smith picks up the victory in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Now, we're going to talk about the NASCAR Xfinity Series on the Pit Pass in a couple of days. I cannot say that enough. I know the SVG fans are like, oh, he didn't mention SVG in this show. He didn't talk about it at all. We're doing a whole separate show in a couple of days, so mash that subscribe button. Come on back for that show. Do not freak out. SVG is coming. We're going to talk about SVG on the show in a couple of days, so come on back for that. But the debate that I want to have on this show today, should Richmond have a second date? Yes or no? Because we are going back to Richmond in a couple of months here. No, it shouldn't. This should be a one racetrack date. I'm of the belief that every single racetrack in the NASCAR Cup Series schedule should only have one date. I'd rather go to more racetracks in more venues in more cities than go to a racetrack that clearly does not put on a good racing product, that does not have fans show up on an Easter Sunday night, and put that race in an area that will have fans show up and will care about the event. Put Richmond down to a single date, because you have other racetracks that have lost a second date in recent years that have only seen their popularity increase and only seen people show up to the single race that they have, including Dover, Fontana, Michigan, Pocono, New Hampshire, Texas. All have lost a second date in the last few years, and all have seen significant improvement with attendance and the on-track racing product in that single race. I want to see more of that. Where can this race date go? I said it going into this race weekend. I said it last weekend on the show. Send this race to North Wilkesboro. We should be racing Easter Sunday night at North Wilkesboro. It's closer for these race teams. It is a smaller track, so it puts less pressure on the racetrack to sell out, and it adds it as a points-paying event. The All-Star race, get rid of it altogether. It doesn't have a place in NASCAR anymore. It's just a waste of a weekend. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Should Richmond have two dates? And if not, where should that date go to? I say North Wilkesboro. Rockingham is a good case as well. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, I'm sure the reason most of you have clicked on this video, Motorsport Games. They released their earning calls for all of 2023 this last week. And yeah, big surprise. The company that used to have the NASCAR license, that used to have the IndyCar license, that used to be a semi-functioning company is circling the drain. They've been circling the drain for the last few years. There's no question about that. But in 2023, they lost $14.3 million. That's pretty god-awful. They have a total of $87 million in debt as of this recording. Holy crap, that's a lot. And they're burning, at the moment, they have about $1.3 million on hand as of the 29th of March of this year. However, they are burning through about $1.1 million per month. So in theory, and this is like literally the fifth time I've said this, in theory, Motorsport Games could be out of business within the next 30 days. Will that happen? At this point, who cares? This is the, honestly, studio that is doing nothing right now. They do not have, to my knowledge, any products in the pipeline for design. Why do we care as fans, honestly? Yeah, I'd like to see this company finally go out of business because they screwed the NASCAR franchise into the ground. But they did the responsible thing and sold that franchise back to iRacing, and that deal has already been closed. So now Motorsport Games has no use. They have no value to us as a fan base. They've put nothing out onto the market of any value whatsoever because NASCAR 21 Ignition was, by all accounts, a massive, huge failure. The end. So yeah, I'd like to see this company finally bite it, but they're probably going to stick around. They're like the cockroach during the apocalypse. They will continue to find a way to live and persist. And there are some good people over at Motorsport Games, and I feel bad for them because they have sincerely ruined their careers and wasted their time at a company that, frankly, never had any interest in putting out an actual good racing product, unfortunately. I would say we'll continue to monitor the situation, but at this point, I really don't care about Motorsport Games. They mean literally nothing to me. The hostility I had towards that company has more or less died because the NASCAR license have gone back into the hands of somebody who actually does care about the product and actually does know what the hell they're doing. So at this point, who cares, honestly? It's just a dead video game company that never put out a decent product that had potential but was screwed into the ground by frankly, a president who was more interested in lining his own pockets than actually creating a company that was going to thrive for years to come. But with that being said, let's open up the comments down below for a little bit of your hot takes to end the show today. We will start with this one. Brother, are you stupid? Yes. Not on this show, but in general, yes. I am very not intelligent sometimes, but, here I kind of know what the hell I'm talking about. What is the most realistic way Wilkesboro gets a point state? Replace it with COTA like Dale Jr. wants, Texas when they reconfigure, hopefully back to the pre-2017 configuration, or another SMI track? D all the above? I mean, it's kind of a little bit of D all the above. I don't feel like they're going to do anything with Texas anytime soon, even though fans, even though the drivers, even though the crew members, even though NASCAR themselves all want to see Texas bulldozed and anything be done to that racetrack. I don't feel like they're going to reconfigure that track anytime soon. I do think replacing it with COTA is a possibility. I think that's Dale Jr.'s pipe dream more than anything, but I think it's more likely that Richmond loses a date and that North Wilkesboro gets that date, particularly with the Easter weekend. I hear that NASCAR is having those discussions. They are still working on the 2025 schedule, but I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. There's a lot of dominoes that need to fall into place with the 2025 schedule. Kaulig should have went down to one charter with Allmendinger as the driver in the 16. Trackhouse desperately needs charters. Don't forget Zillage is Trackhouse's development driver. 5 drivers with only 4 available charters per team. Yeah, Connor, I don't think is going to be jumping up into the Cup Series anytime soon. I think it's more likely he'll be under that Kaulig Trackhouse Xfinity program umbrella within the next couple of years, but even that feels like a pipe dream at this point because the kid's young. The kid needs to age up a little bit, so nothing full-time until at least next year. But even then, I don't believe that he's going to go straight into the Cup Series. So yeah, Trackhouse does need charters. We had that discussion in the last episode, so go check that one out if you haven't already. So I don't know. We're going to have to honestly wait and see at this point. But you can go ahead and leave your hot takes in the comments down below. And while you're there, you can go ahead and mash that subscribe button so that you come back for the next video. And of course, log on to arnrace.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. We're going to be back on Wednesday with a new episode of the Pit Pass where we will talk about everything in the NASCAR Xfinity series. And then on Friday, we're going to be back with another Shifting Gears where we talk about the week of NASCAR news as we head into Martinsville this coming weekend. So for Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see ya at the track.